this is my before and my after. As you can see, I have multiple issues just as I'm getting older and aged. So loss of collagen, loss of elasticity, it's actually laying on my eyelashes, forcing them down. I have impaired vision, but I also get headaches. These are real common issues with my eye. I want to get help from them. And when I go in for the eye doctor, I'm not able to get. So my eye doctor is saying either live with it or cut it off, go see a surgeon. And I want something that's just an instant solution. So I always kind of say that this is, when I developed this, I said, well, where's the push-up bra for the eyelid? And so I really wanted to, you know, create something that was that instant solution that I could do in the comfort of my own home. I could get that correction, I could get that fixed, because I was getting a lot of feedback from the people at my workplace. You know, are you tired? You know, are you angry? Did you just wake up? You know, are you having allergies? And it really started impacting my confidence. So I wanted to develop something where I wasn't willing to live with it and I wasn't ready to cut it off. I just wanted a solution to help me get rid of my headaches and for me to see and to stop, you know, looking so tired and aged. So I'm going to lift this one up for you and go over some placement tips. If you guys have your consult kit, I'd love for you to grab it at this time, because this is the consultation kit that's really going to change your practice. We can't really do anything without it. You can always add multiple kits on as well. So if you have many different doctors in your practice, then what we'd want to do is probably have one consultation kit per doctor's office. But we definitely want to have one in the room of where we're picking out frames and teaching someone contact lenses, because this is really the sizing, and you certainly don't want anybody interrupting your meeting or with your client to knock on the door to try and get one of those. So I have them in here. I'm ready to do a consultation with my client. I simply hand them a mirror. Now, if this was a natural asymmetry for the client, I would certainly address it with them, and I would only need to fix one eye. So since I have a little bit more of dramatic hooding and a lot of excess skin, I'm probably going to start out with that dramatic category. So again, probably a 7 or an 8. If the client is a little bit more conservative, then we can even go down to a 6. But here's a little bit of a difference between a 4 and a 7. So you can see a lot more of a strip, a lot more contouring. This one tends to be for maybe just slight hooding or just very small eyes. This one has much bigger arch to it. So we're really able to look at a deeper cavity. Okay, so if I'm going to manipulate 7 or 8 millimeters back in my ocular cavity, then I'm going to need to make sure that I have that excess skin and I have an ocular cavity. So here's my 7 millimeters. I'm going to go ahead and pull out a nice new sheet for us. Now, there's no left or right, so they're exactly the same shape and size. I have my tweezers in the tube that are all clean and sanitized because we can actually bake this. So keep that little tip on there. But this is the tweezers. Now, there's no left or right. But what I like to do, so I'm not invasive with the client, is I want to go ahead and be on the outside of their face. So I want to peel this, you know, from the outer edge if I'm going to be on their outer face. So if I'm going to be working on the other side. So again, I'll kind of demonstrate that. So if I peel it, I'm sorry, I'm just lifting that tweezers, and now I have this away from the release paper. Arch always goes on top. Now, if I was going to treat the client on this side, then I would be on this side of their face. If I was on this side. So you can see if I was going to place it on this, I would be very invasive of the client, but I also want to teach the client to be able to see in the mirror. If I was working with my left eye, I can't see what I'm doing. And if I'm working on a client, I'm being very invasive. So peel it off. I kind of like to do a little 45-degree angle. So I'm just really there to assist the client. Now, I want to go ahead and clean off any makeup, oils, or moisturizers. I've had a little strip on all day at the office. I've removed it. I still have some transfer makeup. So the one rule always applies. No makeup, oils, or moisturizers, of course, clean skin. But we want to identify where that heaviness is really there. So you can see my crease is up here. And a common mistake is clients say, well, I want an eyelid up there, so I'm going to put it really up high. That's not where we want to put it. So we want to cover that crease. Remember that that's why we're folding. That's why we're heavy and hooded, is because of that. So if we, if my finger is representing this folded line and I block it with a strip, it can no longer fold there. It has to find the top of the strip in order to fold. So whether it's a 5, 6, 7, or 8 millimeter, my eyelid will no longer fold there as long as I capture it within the strip. So again, I'm going to go ahead and get my tweezers. I like to bend this a little bit because it gives me a little bit, stability. You'll find how you peel those off the best, but that little tweezer slides right under there. I've got a nice 45-degree angle. I can clearly see in the mirror where I'm identifying it, and I just clear that excess skin out. So you can, again, another tool I like to do with my clients is look at my hand and keep your head still, but look at my hand and follow it with your eye. You can really see where that eyelid is hooding, and then you keep them in that position. You can assist your client by lifting that excess skin, or just simply have them raise their brow. I have to capture the fold if I'm going to change the fold. So think of this as an eraser. I'm identifying, lifting, and placing it across there. Press and hold so it doesn't move, and lay it across. Slight twist with the tweezers, and remember to press and hold. Don't swipe, as you can pull the strip off the skin. Press and hold, and I have an eyelid. You're doing this in a matter of seconds to the client. Again, one on and one off, show them the mirror, and then put the other one up. They get to leave with these results. And you can then play around and practice with these. They might not be as translucent multiple times, but allowing the client to kind of practice around with placement. Give them some encouragement that at home, set aside a couple of strips and really play around where that strip works best for you. So look at the difference. You would never know that I had impaired vision and loss, of that peripheral with all that excess skin. I get to do this in seconds, easier than my mascara, and walk out with confidence every day. So there's 80 strips in each unit. Oh, removal. So you just simply find the edge of it. Now, if you need to replace it as a technician, you'll want to wait and just peel it off with your fingers until you see some of that film. And then you can go in with your tweezers. Please don't remove it. You don't need the tweezers to remove it. But if you want to go ahead and use this multiple times, again, kind of like that push-up bra when you remove it, things will fall back down because of gravity. You can play around with some different angles and all of that. But these are just really to remove from that release paper so we don't damage it. At night, when I'm done with it, I just simply reach in and just peel a little bit of it off, and then I discard this. This is no longer good. So like a temporary contact lens, it's no good. It's a one-time use. But I can use multiple different numbers. So, this is my last time. I'm going to go ahead and, or my last, meeting for the day. And so it is, what time is it? Almost 7 o'clock here. So thank you, Wendy. I appreciate your feedback. So I'm going to turn it over. Please ask any questions. I want to go ahead and make sure we're good with the color set too. So I'm going to go ahead and lift my eyelid. And I played around, with the placement a little bit. I really know where I like the strip best. And so again, the curve always on top, examine where that's putting, lift any excess skin, and simply place it and erase it. I like to press and hold. You have to in order to bond it. You can't even see it on me. You can't see this one. You can't see it. So my rule of thumb is if you can see it or feel it, the placement or the bonding has to be redone. So if a client says, this is really uncomfortable, maybe they don't have all their motor function, or maybe even it forced their eyelid down way too big. They can't have the big one. So maybe their cavity is not as deep, or maybe they just don't have as big of an issue. Let's start them a little slower. Let's start them a little bit lower, and they can always move back up next month or, next year. So I'm really liking this. Now my eyelashes, of course, have been pushed down. I need to redo my mascara, but I really like that contour. Now, another thing that you may have noticed, and when you watch this again, my eyebrow was down. we're able to trigger in the larger numbers the muscle in the back of the ocular cavity. That's incredible when we can give somebody that really big, you know, that full facelift, that adjustment. So any questions on that? I will open one of the packets so you know what your clients are going home with. So inside of each unit, regardless of the size, is 80 strips. And we protect them in these little cases so we don't want to have any germs on them. We give everyone a little plastic applicator tool because we want to really make sure that they know they're not supposed to use their fingers or their nails. They could damage or contaminate those strips if they do. No matter how much we wash our hands, we could still transfer oil, dirt, and things like that. So we give them a little applicator tool. This is great for a first timer. They obviously work. It's the equivalent of a plastic hammer versus a metal hammer. So obviously if we're an everyday wear, like 80% of our clients, we want that tool that will really be successful and give us the best results. They get full instructions. These are the same instructions you guys have on your consultation kit. So please read those because now you'll know that if you have a tip or a trick and you know it's not in their how-to, then add that. If you damage the strip the first time when you practiced and learned how to use it, tell them that. You know, the first time I took it, I forgot to let go of the tweezers and I really stretched it and damaged it. You know, it wasn't a good result. Give them that feedback so they can get that benefit. I want to do one more thing because this goes along because I'm going to do makeup on my hand. So again, I'm just getting a little strip. I like to bend it a little bit and then just find that edge and peel it. Peel it as straight as you can. If you peel it too fast, it could have a curl and you'll see that right away. Now, anybody and everybody on this call can certainly get their consultation kit, and maybe the 3s or the 4s are not going to be a big demonstration for you in your demographics. You'll learn where your demographics are, and if you sell all 4s, then just reorder 4s. But grab one of the little 4 millimeters and get your hand as long as it's clean. I want to demonstrate this for you. I'm just going to lay it down on my hand. Now, you can see the strip. So remember the rule. If you can see it, it's not yet bonded. So what I want you guys to do is lay one on your hand and press only half of it. Now, this will allow you to get good and trained with the correcting strips. Now, if I take it and try to get this edge versus the middle, it might be more challenging. So you're going to figure out exactly how the best way to peel those. We'll refill your kits, so don't worry. So you're going to learn how to peel that off and to let it go through this demonstration, but also the bonding. You can only see half of it because I've only pressed and held half of it. No matter how much I say, somebody will do a light dusting and you can still see it. So again, if you can see it, it's not yet bonded, press and hold, walk your hand, walk your finger slowly, and watch it disappear, because that's the technique you're going to have to show your clients in order to get it invisible. Now, look, I am under very, very strong lights. I've got big camera lights on me so you guys can see me, and you shouldn't be able to feel it either because of that skin-like technology. So here it is. It's now bonded. I know it's going to be on there for up to 24 hours, but I may want to do some eyeshadow on it. Okay, so here's my teaching on why we developed this. Is we want to go ahead and make this one surface, because right now, even though you can't see it, because you need nothing else for the correcting strips to work, you don't have to buy one of these. But if you want to make it purple or black, I always encourage my clients, you haven't seen your eyelid in 10, 20 years. Enjoy it for a while, but that's just me. So I tend to be a little bit more natural without the makeup. So I actually use this as a highlighter, brighten up the area. Now I'm going to go ahead and remove this once again so you guys can actually see. Now, muscle memory is an incredible thing. Now you guys just saw my eyebrow drop, right? It's incredible how it raises the eyebrow. So I'm going to do one on and one off and just brighten the area. I love this technique. It's safe for around the eyes, including the waterline. I even like to use it on the Cupid's bow, down the nose. It's all about highlighting, contouring, and all that stuff. So it's multi-purpose. But brightening for me is key. So you can see the difference between my heavy hooded eyelid and no brightening and highlighting and recontouring in seconds. So 2 products on this eye in order to get this instant lift. But let me go back to the hand because I want to demonstrate the eyeshadow. You definitely don't want me teaching eyeshadow because I can't do it. I look like I was just mugged in an alley anytime I've done it. So eyeshadow is just not for me. But here's what I'm going to do. The strip goes right across there. And so I'm going to do it half. Now what I'm doing here, again, I'm making this one surface. So if you want to paint it black or blue or green with eyeshadow, now we have an even surface where this over here is 2 surfaces, this is 1. So this is not to make the strip disappear. It was already invisible. This is only a shadow primer, but it also highlights, brightens, and contours, as you can see. But here's that one surface. So I've really kind of pressed on it. Now, we do not sell eyeshadow. I'm getting some generic shadow, and I'm gonna go straight for the black because black doesn't lie. So here it is on the non-treated side. You can kind of see it never looks like it does in the palette, but it's taken 2 different ways. Now I'm gonna get the exact same shadow. So here's the black right here. Can't see upside down. Same shadow. And whether you need the strips or not, it's 10 times the pigment. So look at the pigment alone. 10 times the pigment, but we called it color set because this is not going to go anywhere. It's not going to transfer throughout the day. So we saw some of those reviews. I've never had eyeshadow stay on for up to 24 hours, but look at the pigment. So this will stay. Now, you and I live in very humid areas. I'm in Florida and I go to Australia about 4 or 5 times a year. It's humid and tropical. So if I pour water on this, it is going to reflect that water right off. It beads up. It doesn't allow for the penetration. So your shadows will be 10 times stronger in pigment. It will stay all day. But again, why we developed it, we did not want to disrupt that strip. So even though I've pressed on it and I've rubbed it, I have not disrupted where the strip was because I bonded it. But look at how much better the shadow adheres to the strip. Because that strip was not porous, we needed to prime it so the shadow would actually adhere to it. And other primers will not be able to do that because they're oil-based and they won't dry. So that's the benefits of having that creamy, organic-based material that can do so much, highlight, brighten, and contour. We can send you guys some more fun images of what we've been able to do. One of the newest ones is to just brighten up that center of the lip, and then you can outline it. So your lip liner will stay longer. So any clients that, buy this just on its own is a huge seller because of that safety around the eyes and where other products might not be as safe. So hopefully that answered the question. I'm hugely passionate about this primer, if you can't tell, because it does so much. But when I demonstrate just the difference in the pigment that it does alone, this is a great seller on its own. Our tweezers are great sellers on their own. So again, they're a nice complement. They're tools that work along together. So clients don't have to have bad results using another dull tweezer or a really bad primer that doesn't work for them. So not only are they individual sellers, they go great together. I know we're at the end of our time, and I want to thank everyone before you start getting off. Thank you so much. And again, you're going to get this presentation so you can teach other staff members as they enter into your practices. But please, I'll stay on for another 15 minutes if needed to answer any questions and show you any demonstrations. You can clearly see that just after 2 products here, what a difference. But these are real solutions that we're able to correct, not only use it for a better ocular examination, but actually correct these common issues for your clients and not just send them to a surgeon or tell them to live with it. So very impactful product. I think you'll get an amazing amount of clients that you really changed their life, and we look forward to having you as one of our retailers for a very, very long time.